Hi, welcome to the Fight Age channel. The WBA, IBF, WBO and IBO World Heavyweight Champion Anthony Joshua is confident that he will have a fight with the WBC Heavyweight Champion Tyson Fury. The former absolute world champion in the first heavyweight and mandatory challenger for a WBO heavyweight title, Alexander Usyk, will be preparing for a September fight against the WBA, IBF and WBO champion Anthony Joshua, under the guidance of the famous Ukrainian coach Anatoly Lomachenko, who led Usyk to the gold of the Olympics and also prepared him for a fight against Murat Gassiev, in which the Ukrainian became the absolute world champion. Ukrainian coach Sergei Gorodnichev, who was once responsible for working with sparring partners in the team of Wladimir Klitschko, believes that Alexander Usyk will never be able to reach the level of his former ward. Many experts and just boxing fans are now inclined to believe that the fight with Alexander Usyk will be a real test for a Briton Anthony Joshua. Perhaps this particular fight will be the most difficult in Joshua's career. If you look at Joshua's track record, there is no such technically trained fighter as Alexander Usyk. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to the channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 10,000 subscribers on my channel. I am trying very hard and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. The WBA, IBF, WBO and IBO World Heavyweight Champion Anthony Joshua is confident that he will have a fight with the WBC Heavyweight Champion Tyson Fury. I could box with Fury until the end of the year, but I first need to pass Usyk. With or without Usyk, I will fight Fury in my life. Usyk is not the most important thing. He doesn't determine if I'm going to fight Fury. The Fury fight has to happen. This is a big fight. It's more than boxing, more than belts. This will happen after the fight with Usyk, after I have defended my belts, Joshua said. Recall that the fight between Joshua and Ukrainian Alexander Usyk will take place on September 25. The former absolute world champion in the first heavyweight and mandatory challenger for the WBO heavyweight title, Alexander Usyk, will be preparing for a September fight against the WBA, IBF and WBO champion Anthony Joshua, under the guidance of the famous Ukrainian coach Anatoly Lomachenko, who led Usyk to the gold of the Olympics and also prepared him for a fight against Murat Gassiev, in which the Ukrainian became the absolute world champion. This was reported to the British media by American promoter Bob Arum, with reference to Usyk's manager Egis Klimas. Let me warn you about something. Even though I'm not his promoter, I consider him, Alexander Usyk, a good friend. And I know him so well because he is Vasily Lomachenko's best friend, Arum told Sky Sports. Egis Klimas, who is a manager of Booth, told me that he spoke with Lomachenko's father, whom they call Papochenko, and who trained all these Ukrainian Olympians, and he agreed to properly prepare Usyk for this fight. I'm telling you, don't think that Joshua is waiting for an easy fight. He will have a very difficult fight against Usyk, an amazing boxer. Lomachenko's father does not train anyone else, but he will train Usyk, because Usyk is like a member of the family. The fight between Joshua and Usyk is scheduled for September 25, and most likely it will take place in London at the Tottenham Football Stadium. Ukrainian coach Sergei Gorodnichev, who was once responsible for working with sparring partners in the team of Wladimir Klitschko, believes that Alexander Usyk will never be able to reach the level of his former ward. Will Usyk repeat Klitschko's career? He will never repeat it. I agree with you that Sasha is a positive person, a good guy. but he doesn't know how to do business. I can't figure out what's stopping him here. If he continues to conduct his business like this, he will become useless to anyone at all. It is good that there is Alexander Usyk, who is engaged in business, but they do not buy him. It's not worth 10 million. If it was worth that much money, there would already be a fight. And then Anthony Joshua will wait, and I predict that in November-December, the Joshua Fury fight will still take place. With or without a Usyk, but most likely without. So he will have to wait a very long time, Gorodnichev said. Sergei Gorodnichev believes that the mandatory challenger for the WBO heavyweight title, Alexander Usyk, will not be able to defeat Anthony Joshua. If this fight takes place, then I of course bet on Joshua, because at the moment Usyk has no experience of fighting with such big guys. Chisora, I agree, but he is old and came out in order to earn money. If Joshua fights with Usyk, then something may happen to Alexander somewhere in the 6th round, and he will not pull this fight. Usyk is a technical boxer. I never said that he was bad. I've always said that he is a great boxer, but he doesn't know how to do business. That's his problem. A boxer should not only box, but also be able to do business. And he pushes it off another, and he stands aside just like Anatoly Lomachenko. The Grey Cardinal quickly decided everything, stood aside and watched. So, Usyk, you need to change the team in order to conduct business very well at this level, Gorodnichev said. Gorodnichev also believes that the Ukrainian heavyweight Alexander Usyk will not agree on a fight with Anthony Joshua, because he is not a commercially attractive boxer. I called my video a Usyk costs 3 kopecks. Yes, it is. It is clear that this is sarcasm. But at the moment, Usyk is not worth a lot of money. Now this fight is being promoted. Who have they just connected but this fight? Does us grow together? And the WBO sanctioned the fight, although it also scheduled a Usyk-Joyce fight. Where is this fight? The reason not it. Because they didn't raise money. Joshua has signed a very expensive contract, not for 2, 10 or even 15 million, but many times more. This insulting distribution of the fee of 20 to 80, of course, hit Usyk's ego. He decided to raise the hype and began to sell himself dearly, but he won't get what he wants. No one is going to pay a lot of money for it. This fight will not happen. They raise a hype, gather a crowd to organize it, but this fight will not work. Not because someone was scared, but because Joshua has a big contract for a lot of money. They are trying, they are promoting, but unfortunately, this fight will not happen, Sergei Gorodnichev said in an interview. Of course, you can cite to example of Wladimir Klitschko, whom Joshua defeated, to put it mildly, but it is worth nothing that Wladimir Klitschko is inferior to Alexander Usyk in his plasticity in his defense. Vladimir's main weapon was his crazy classic deuce, which could send an elephant into a knockout, and, of course, his waistcoats and sometimes hard-to-bear clinch. Usyk is a completely separate story, with its own unique developments. In addition to his unique technique and an amazing sense of distance, Usyk is motivated, as they say, 100%. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.